A majority of your website visitors enter your website through your home page, and that's why it's one of the most important pages of your website. Now, if your home page is not engineered properly or correctly, then what you might find is that a lot of your website visitors would come to your website and leave instantly without navigating any further. This is called bounce rate. And if you have an existing website, it might be already happening to you. And don't believe me, go and check your Google Analytics and find the homepage bounce rate. You might find a lot of visitors who came to your website, who came to your homepage and left immediately because your homepage was poorly engineered. Now, I'm using this term engineering or engineered intentionally because as opposed to the popular belief that website development is an art, it's not an art. It's pure science. It's pure engineering. A smarter website has got two clear objectives. Number one, to acquire new customers, and number two is to engage and retain existing one. That's it. No matter how beautiful your website is, if it's not creating leads or sales for you, that's useless. It's a waste of time and money. In this video, I am going to uncover the science of creating a high conversion homepage, and will also give you a downloadable blueprint that you can give to your developers to improve your existing website or create a new one. Alright, so let's get started. Now, the very first thing to understand is that your website visitor passes through three phases while they travel through your website. The number one is an entry point. So your entry point can be your home page or any other page through which they enter your website. Number two are the journey pages, and number three is the goal. And your goal can vary from business to business. So for an e-commerce website, it can be them checking out a product, like actually checking out, buying a product. It can be requesting a quote, them picking up the phone and dialing your business. It can be them submitting a contact form, or it can be something as simple as booking a demo, setting up an appointment with you, or registering for your software as a subscription system. Whatever it is, you need to identify what is the goal of your website, and your goal can vary from different users. So you need to identify your user personas. I've got a specific video on user personas. If you haven't already watched it, you can find the link in the description below. So you need to identify your user personas and then identify what goal are they following on your website. And everything that lies between this entry point and this goal are your journey pages. So they can be your about us page, your service page, or this testimonials, portfolio, whatever it is, the information that they scroll through after they enter until they reach their goal is your journey pages. Now, our aim over here is to make sure that they have a very smooth journey and they can reach the goal as efficiently as they can. But it's not as simple as that. The reason for that is because there are three types of website browsers depending on how they browse the website. Number one are skippers, number two are navigators, and number three are scrollers. So skippers are the people who would land on your entry page, and we are talking about home page specifically over here. So who will probably land on your home page and they don't want to waste their time jumping around. They want to directly follow the call to action and reach to the goal. So they'll probably pick up the phone and dial you, or request a quote, or get in touch with you some way. So these are the people who don't like to mess around. They will look at your website homepage, the first fold, and directly jump to your call to action. So these are the people who would skip everything, skip the journey pages, and would come directly to your goal. And you have to cater and ensure that your website is optimized for that. The second type of people are the people who are navigators. So these people would not scroll your website enough. So these people would look at your first fold, your home page, your menu at the top, and they will click through the next page, and then from next page to the next page and next page and so on. So these people would navigate through your website and then reach the goal. Then there are third type of people who are scrollers. These are the people who like to read through your website, and they will come on your website homepage, scroll down, read through all the information that's there. They don't care about the menu up at the top. They are sort of interested in just sort of scrolling on and making sure that the information is there. once they scroll down, they find a link, they jump to another page, again scroll down and check that page, and so on. So these people are the scrollers, and they sort of go a bit deep into your pages and sort of move to next page and then ultimately reach your goal. So you need to ensure that your website is actually, and your home page is catering all these three type of people. So how do you do that? Now, the very first and foremost thing in a home page is that all of these three type of people have got one thing in common. All of these people are too judgmental. Yes, they are going to judge your website. They are going to judge your business on the basis of the very first fold they see. As soon as they enter your link, your website opens up and they are looking at your website, they are going to judge you. What are they going to judge you on? They are going to judge you on two things. First of all, like a blind date, they are going to look at you from the distance and ensure that you are not, if you are wearing shabby clothes or whatever, they'll run away. So if your website is not looking fine, it looks shabby, it looks unorganized, then they will move away. So although I've been sort of like, a big advocate of saying, beautiful websites do not ultimately end in conversion, what I want to say here is that beautiful websites are important, but that's not the only important factor in a website. But for this specific reason, you have to ensure that your website is attractive enough, but also the layout is nice, clean and simple, so that their first impression about your business is not shabby, is not unorganized, is not, looking at the website, they're going to judge your business. So how you can do that? So there are few things over there. First of all, your logo, of course, it needs to be placed out sort of correctly. Your navigation up at the top, it needs to be clear. But the main thing, the second thing that they are going to look on your website also is this business right for me? Are we the right match? And also, does this business understands my problem? So, I have got a blueprint for you for the home page. You can download it again from the link that I've given below. But this blueprint talks about your very first fold, and in your very first fold, you will have a very nice, clear background, either image or a video or a combination of them or a slider. So whatever it is, it's important that you make sure that, of course, it looks beautiful, but also it connects to them, it resonates to them. So when they are looking at you, looking at your website, looking at that image, it can have an impression. If they're looking at that video, it can have that connection or impression. So that's first important thing. The second part is your headline and then the subheading that you provide over there. That's pretty important. Now, one thing to remember is that these people are strangers. They are coming to your website for the first time and they want to understand what you do. So it needs to be pretty clear that what exactly do you do in your headline. So if you what's your niche, what are you doing, and then secondly, how are you going to help them, how do you understand your problem. Now remember, try and understand that you are not Nike, where you can just say, you can put a tick mark and put an abstract like just do it, because it wouldn't cut for majority of businesses, and especially for the people who are coming to you as strangers. So just having a tagline that's ambiguous would not work. You have to clearly put it out. You have to, for example, if you go on our website, we say, enterprise grade web and app development company. As simple as that. We have sort of just put it out that if you need an enterprise grade website or app, you come to us. And then there's a bit of paragraph that you would see, that's my subheading, and that talks about the benefit that I'm providing to you, the problem that I'm solving for you. And beneath that is the call to action. Now, see, again, this call to action is for my skipper who would just want to look at my first fold and would directly jump on the goal. But there would be a lot of people who would scroll through or navigate as well. So just a quick recap of this: ensure that your image or video resonates with them. Make sure your website is laid out properly, it's accurate, and it looks beautiful. Number 3, you tell them exactly what you do. And number 4, you tell them how you are going to solve your problem. If they look at it, if they are fine with it, they are going to continue with your website. Otherwise, they will leave your website, they will go away, and you don't want that to happen. So that's the first fold. They have got 15 seconds to decide. If you get it right, then they are going to move ahead. Now let's talk about these three different type of visitors one by one. So skipper is going to look at the first fold, and if they are happy with the first fold, they are going to look for a call to action, because they want to now give you a call. They're excited already and they just want to talk to you, or maybe book an appointment or purchase your product. So you have to put your call to action, which is pretty important. There are two places where I recommend a call to action. First is in your navigation bar on the top right hand side. You sort of put a clear button, apart from your navigation, because you'll have 4 or 5 different menus, but then you have a very clear button that says out loud, you have to do this, get in touch, buy the product or whatever it is. Push them to the call to the action, push them to the goal, and then another call to action that's beneath your heading and subheading and the call to action. If you are doing these things correctly, and if you have created your goal page properly, you will be able to convert skippers. That's as simple as that. Now we come to navigators. Now navigators, as I said, that they are not going to scroll through your website a lot. What they are interested in just sort of skipping through the pages. So we need to make sure that your navigation is laid out in a proper sequence. So, and it has got all the main pages that or answer to all the main questions that they might be asking. Now, some businesses make this mistake that they will add the information probably beneath in the home page, that would be buried down the home page, but would not be up there. The key is to ensure and remember that there are navigators who are never going to scroll your home page, and you have to provide a logical path for them to travel through your website. So they go from probably your about page, if you've got an about page, to your services or your products, a bit of testimonials, portfolio, and then to your goal, whatever it is. Now, the third type of visitors are the scrollers. These type of visitors are not going to click on your website or navigation menu. They are not going to click on your call to action. And that's why there's this whole new trend of creating longer pages, which people would scroll. Now, you have to ensure that your website has got all the main information on the home page, enough information that can provide them an overview of your business. So a lot of people ask me, what do we need to include in the home page? The way I see and the way the science of the home page works is that your home page is the summary of all the pages in your website. So you've got your navigation up at the top. You need to ensure that through your home page, you're also navigating them to those pages, because scroller is going to scroll through your website, and if they like something, then they go from there. And then it needs to be in a logical order. So if you're a service-based business, you'll be first fold. The second fold would talk about probably building the trust, some logos of the clients that you have worked with, the awards that you have won, or things like that. And then you sort of talk about your services in the next fold or in the next section. And again, provide them an option to navigate to your service page from there, so that they don't have to sort of go up in the menu and go from there. And what you do is you use one section each for different type of pages, different parent pages that you have added in your website. So it sort of becomes a way to snapshot or capture the information in sort of smaller pieces. So maybe your services, if you are selling products, your featured products, then a few important trust building things are your testimonials. Absolutely important. The proof that you do well. If you've got any awards, up there. If you have got any community associations, you're a member of something, put it up there. If you have got any news, media mentions, put it up there. Now, an excellent example of how you provide a snapshot of your pages. So you would probably have a blog page separately in your website, but what you would like to do in your home page is give a snapshot of those blogs. So the heading would be recent blogs or recent articles, and you would put 3 or 6 articles with an option to click directly on them, or an option to read more that will go to all the blogs. Similarly, our latest work or portfolio can be a smaller section with 3 or 4 snapshots, and then they can click on it to actually go to your sort of full portfolio page. So what you are doing through your home page is you're looking at your website and identifying your sitemap, and once you know your sitemap, you ensure that the parent pages in your sitemap are actually included as a section in your home page. In this blueprint, I've provided you all different type of sections that you can include. So as I said, so for services business, you can have a logos of the clients, testimonials from the clients, awards, your methodology, how you work, and of course, answering these questions, why do you do what you do? How do you do it, and what do you actually provide in terms of services? What type of clients do you work with? So if you look at my website homepage, I've sort of covered the services in there. Who do we work with? The testimonials, the logos, a bit of video to provide a bit of engagement. And one thing that I highly emphasize is the data. Like, people need proof, and numbers are easy to digest. So try and crunch some data about your business, 50,000 cars sold, 40,000 happy customers, 95% satisfaction rate, or whatever your business is. Just try to crunch some numbers and put it up there as a sort of a count up timer. There's a bit of psychology behind this sort of count up timers, is when people sort of look at increasing numbers, and they can it's a proof, but also compels them to sort of like your business, trust your business, and actually purchase from them. So in this blueprint, what I would like you to do is look at the blueprint and think about your business and your sitemap and see what sections you can use. You don't need to use all the sections because I've sort of provided the list of a whole lot of sections, but you can sort of definitely take inspiration from there and choose the section that you want. Now comes the footer. Now, footer is a different topic altogether, but important things in the footer are subscribe to your newsletter. No matter whether you are selling services or products, you need to capture email addresses of the people. It doesn't matter which business you are in, you ensure that you have a subscribe to newsletter that's connected to either your MailChimp or your CRM, whatever you are using. But it's important that you have a subscribe to newsletter in the footer, but also somewhere between inside your homepage as well. The second thing is your contact information, so that they don't have to jump to a contact page to contact you. If as they are scrolling through your website, in the footer they can clearly see your contact page. And the third thing that I recommend is another menu at the bottom, and you can use the exact same menu up as the top, or you can have a more diversified menu. You can have a different menu, because it again allows people who have sort of scrolled through the website to come down at the bottom and then click and sort of go from there. Now, one thing which is pretty important are your social media links. So you definitely want to include it either in your footer or header or somewhere between your website, depending upon your choice. But in terms of the homepage, I provide a bit of checklist, and that checklist contains the subscribe to newsletter, your social media icons, or probably an actual social media widget, your contact details, and then at the very bottom, your terms and conditions. Pretty important. Make sure that you put a copyright on it as well, so that no one else's takes away from your website. If you haven't added a copyright, then someone else can come and sort of copy your text. Well, they still do that, but just to enforce that and ensure that that's your copyright, or if someone else's copyright, you sort of mention that at the bottom. I think this information would be able to provide you a bit more clearer picture of how homepage needs to be developed. The three types of visitors that you need to think about are the skippers, the navigators, and the scrollers, and make sure that your homepage adheres to and caters to all these three people, so that your website visitors from your homepage can easily navigate through and reach your goal as soon as possible. If you have any questions, feel free to write back to me. If you want more suggestions around your homepage, feel free to write to us. Our contact details are again below, and we can have a chat. We'll come back in the next video. Till then, it's goodbye from Amir. Thank you.